Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma with Always Junior Binno there. We have Lisa Jaboro, Lorraina Yaldo, Molly Williams here. They're with Cheers to Second Chances. It's an event to raise awareness for transplants, kidneys specifically, or is it all transplants?
Living donation for kidney and liver.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Oh, cool. So someone kick it off and kind of just tell us who you are and.
Lisa Jaboro.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a kidney recipient, and I received a kidney from my sister December of 2017.
Nice.
So.
And who's your sister?
Zena Maddie. Yes.
Nice. And you are?
Yes, Lorraina Yaldo. I received 2 kidney transplants. My first one was in 2011 from my mom. We had a good 5 years with that kidney. I went into a little bit of rejection and needed a second transplant. My second was also a living donor. Somebody known throughout the community was a manager at Shenandoah, Steve. He came forward and just wanted to help out, so he was my donor in September 2017.
Awesome.
Great man. Thank you, Steve.
We have Molly here today. I know it's a little bit different format today. Our first non-Chaldean interviewee, but you guys came together, so we want to present you as well since you're working with a group of Chaldeans.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. This community's been so caring and supportive, and I've grown up in the area, so I have a lot of different friends who are Chaldean, but so we're so excited to have this event. I had a living donor transplant last October, October 10th, and my donor's name was Christy Cooper. I really did not know her well. I met her at the gym. I had had a number of people get tested for me, including family, and no one was matching. And then Christy was a perfect match, and she's a single mom living here locally in Birmingham, and gave me the kidney last
God bless her.
October.
And all the donors are alive and well and
Yes.
are
Yes.
living
Yes.
normal lives.
Perfect health.
Very
So-
healthy.
Amazing.
Yep.
So explain that. Because all three of you mentioned living donor. So let's get into that first.
The differences.
The difference is living and non-living, and what we have in Michigan available and other states available. So if we can start with that first to know.
Well, there's 2 different types of transplants. There's a cadaver. That means when somebody passes away, their organs are donated, or a family member, friend, stranger, steps up and decides to give an organ to not only extend our lives, but give us a quality of life. So that's the difference. There's also longevity. The living donor kidney, because it's going from one hot body into another, lasts a lot longer. Some even say double the time, if not more. The cadavers don't last as long.
Okay. And
Yes.
cadavers you're donated from organs that people have passed away
Yes.
and stuff.
Yes.
And
So to get
Yep.
in addition to all of that,
Sure.
I think so when you're having kidney failure, so there's two types of organs you can give living. You can give a liver and you can give a kidney.
Sure.
The rest of organs have to be from a cadaver. But for a kidney, when you get into kidney failure, when you go on the transplant list for the state, then people can begin getting tested to give
Yes.
you the living donation.
Okay.
So you're on the list to get a kidney. And then, in addition to that, people begin getting tested
Yes.
to possibly. So it's like a dual path for you.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're both working kind of hand in hand to make sure that the whole transition is smoothly and that it's actually fitting the body that it's about to go into.
Yes.
Right.
And the donations themselves, are these people that are, I know on the back of our driver's license, we can go ahead and accept that to be a donor after we pass and all that. Living, when you're alive and you do this, is this something you get, would I get paid? I'm just saying this because in regards, what
great
do I
question.
benefit
Yes.
Great
to
question.
give my kidney to you? Is it I'm doing it for the sake of humanity, or I'm just doing it because I'm getting paid? So,
Humanity.
okay.
Yes.
You're doing something that only God can do.
Yep.
Give somebody a better life. Give somebody a chance to live. If it wasn't for my sister, I was on 3-4 different types of high blood pressure medication. I was on all sorts of medication. There was days I couldn't even wear my shoes. There was days I couldn't even walk straight because of how swollen I was. I mean, she didn't just give me longevity, help with longevity. She gave me quality of life. I jump out of bed. I'm working out 3 times a week. I'm training for a half marathon again. It's just, it's a whole, I have a skip in my walk thanks to my sister. I really,
It's awesome.
A little bit different from Lisa and Molly. I was on dialysis, and many people waiting for kidney transplants do need to be on dialysis. They were lucky enough that they found living donors before they went on dialysis. Both times, my kidneys failed very quickly, and I had to go on dialysis right away. I was on dialysis for 14 months both times.
Could you explain? I don't mean to interrupt in that
course.
sense, but what is dialysis and all the work involved with dialysis?
So dialysis is basically cleaning of the blood and urine in your body, because that's what the kidneys do. The kidneys filter out your blood and your urine. When your kidneys don't work, your body can't do that. So at dialysis, you're hooked up to a machine anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a day, 3 times a week.
Okay.
Anyone who's been on dialysis, it's mostly older people, but anyone who has been on dialysis can tell you it is not a life.
Yep.
It's not
It's not a life. You cannot have. You cannot. It's not sustainable. You cannot live a full life being on dialysis. So I know some people wait 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10, 15 years before they can get transplants and being on dialysis. I was lucky enough, even in that year and 4 months, both times, that I was able to get a living donor, because in that time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week, my friends knew not to call me. My family knew not to call me. I was there from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I went home. I slept until 3 p.m.
Brutal.
Because
You're recovering.
You can't
It's
function.
exhausting.
Yeah.
You really can't function. So in that year and 4 months, I was doing nothing. I was, I was just like,
kind of amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I would just say this, that the human body, so the kidney itself acts like a water filtration system, okay? So it's like filtering the blood and creating urine from it, like what you described. So the blood goes through it and it creates urine.
Okay.
I think the time frame for the organ to go through your whole body is like 10 to 15 minutes. It'll filter your whole body.
Yeah.
Wow.
She has to be on dialysis for 3 to 4 hours and not create what you're getting at the end. Like, we have energy right now.
Yeah.
We have
Sure.
all this stuff. She didn't have energy when she went through that. It was just keeping her alive.
and
We were watching your story.
yeah.
A lot of us were, because we were rooting you on from the outside. I didn't know you. I know your
Definitely.
family very well,
Yeah.
but personally I didn't know you. But we were rooting you from the outside.
So that's the thing. My family's always been very open about my health history. I've always been an open book about it, and anything
Good.
that we can share that can help the next person, we'd like to do. So that's why we were very public about my story.
Good.
We were very public about finding a donor, because the first time when my mom was tested, I got lucky. The second time, 3 to 4 people were tested before Steve came forward, and they didn't work. A couple were my brothers. They weren't matches. Well, one was a match, but there was this tiny little thing in his kidney that made him not able to be a donor. So every time somebody is tested, it takes a few months, and then, like I said, I got lucky the first time with my mom. The second time, not so much, but it was the same time frame before Steve got tested. And
vetting, how long does it take to vet these people? Like, it's not just a few months or a 30-day.
It's a process.
It's a process.
It's a
Yeah, for
process.
sure.
And it's a complete separate team.
Walk us through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, they're speaking to psychologists, psychiatrists, right? I mean, the whole thorough workup.
Yeah, I think the first step, so like Lisa just said, to be clear, there's a separate team of people that take on the donor.
Yep.
They don't advocate at all for anyone but the donor. So like in Lorraina's case, her brother, they will never put a donor into a surgery that has any potential risk. So they fill out paperwork. They say, I'm willing. They go give blood work. They run the initial blood work.
Yep.
And then they come up with some results. And then they say, okay, we're going to put maybe one person through.
Yes.
Because it's super
They do
expensive
one
to
at a
put the
time.
person through the
Okay.
next phase.
Yes.
And then it's all day testing, where the person gets, I think they do a filtration of their kidneys for like 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
To see how good their kidneys are functioning, and also to see which one they would take. So as part of that testing, so it's like an all-day
So
deal.
they're flushing
day.
your body to see what
what
might
it can
come out
do.
of it.
And then they start testing the mind to
Yeah.
make sure that you're capable of doing this, or if somebody's paid you or threatened
yeah,
you.
that was one of your questions. I wanna
Yeah.
get- You
Wait,
cannot
what?
be paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot be paid at all.
You cannot be coerced.
Don't
you
be coming
cannot-
to my house, Anthony.
I know where you live. I got you.
All right.
I see him looking at you.
Yeah.
But so I mean, my donor said they ask you all the way up to the surgery 4 to 5 times that morning. They're wheeling you in, and they're like, if you do not want to do this,
Right.
you can back out right now, and we'll give them a different reason.
Have people backed out?
yeah,
sure.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, that
Yes.
makes sense.
So who pays for all this?
He has an insurance or a
Our
person?
insurance.
Our insurance
Your
for
insurance of the
recipients.
person needing it.
Pays for everything.
Both surgeries, all the testing.
Provided you have
Everything.
coverage and all that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so to do are insurance companies as dirty as they are
No. Say it
in
out
certain
loud.
situations as they are when in a donor situation?
I had a great experience.
Great experience.
I was okay as well.
Great.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Great-
surprising.
great experience.
It's surprising because a lot
Yeah.
of times I don't want to pay out, and I'm sure it's not an inexpensive surgery or and
No.
all that
For
stuff.
both.
Yeah, it's exactly
It's
your
paid for
dual.
both, and
Yeah,
both
it's dual.
hospital stays.
Yeah.
So you said your first was your mom, yours was your sister, then you had Steve.
A second transplant.
So you said your parents were, pretty public about your situation, and is that how Steve found out?
That is how Steve found out. So one day my brother Lawrence was at Shenandoah and was like talking. I don't even remember who he was talking to, but he was saying, yeah, someone asked about me and was like, oh, how's your sister doing? And Steve was like, oh, what's wrong with your sister? And he's like, she's waiting for a kidney, she's on the transplant list. And he's like, oh, I'll do it.
That's
And
amazing.
Lawrence is like, nah, whatever. So Lawrence comes home, tells my dad, oh, Steve at Shenandoah said he'll do it. And if you know Steve, he's a very quiet, shy
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, yeah, he's a
You
great
wouldn't-
guy,
You
great
wouldn't,
person.
you wouldn't think that somebody like him would come forward, but that's the magic of it all.
Yeah,
like
when somebody
someone
told
like
me
him
how-
came forward. So my dad called him and was like, "Hey Steve, here's the process if you actually do want to start." And in this time, like my brother was testing, like I said, my aunt was testing, other people were testing, some cousins, and then he became the perfect match, and that was probably late July, and then September. And
Yeah, that's how-
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard they're like Steve, and I said,
Yeah.
Steve. So Steve who?
Even
Yeah,
when
I know,
And it's like,
right?
Steve. So what was your situation? How did your donor know that you were in need of a kidney?
So I work out. Some people work out at Orange Theory. I work out at Orange Theory. And the thing about it is I go to the same class every week. So it's like the same time, same people. And I had missed a class last summer. And when I came the following week, people were like, why'd you miss? And like Lisa described, I was really losing a lot of energy. Like I really did not feel good. So I was pushing myself. I think we all push ourselves at the end. But so I said, well, I need a kidney transplant. And mind you, I'd been on the list for a year and a half. Like I had been on the state of Michigan list. And this woman was like, you need a kidney transplant. So I know her from the gym. Like we talk. I know her. She said, I'll get tested. And I will say, and I say this a lot of people say they'll get tested.
Sure.
And I have no judgment, and no one does, about getting tested or not getting tested.
Right.
I don't even know if I would do it if I was in that situation. So she messaged me on Facebook that day, was filling out the paperwork on Henry Ford, unbeknownst to me, and asked for my birthday because she needed it to fill out the paperwork. And that was on June 16th. And then on August 6th, I messaged her because we didn't have each other's cell phones, and she was the perfect match.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
And yeah,
It's a testimonial, right? There's a
Right.
story.
like that. There's literally I said, for me, and this is just me, I'm a real control freak. I really struggle to receive from others. I want to
Sure.
give and not receive. And that God was like, this is your test. Like, here's your
Yeah.
test. And as soon as I gave it up and trusted in the process, I wanted it so bad to be my best friend. I wanted it to be my husband. I wanted it to be
Yeah.
all these people. And as soon as I gave it up, it couldn't have been better.
Right.
It
Yeah.
couldn't have worked out better.
That's how it usually lands, right?
Oh.
Expect the unexpected in any which way, good or bad. I have a question for the three of you. Is each one of your situations common to one another? What led up to the situation with your kidneys, or is each different? And how did you guys finally get to the point of saying, we got to get a new kidney?
Well, I have polycystic kidney disease, and my disease, one of the side effects is aneurysms.
Okay.
So my kidney disease gifted me a couple brain surgeries back in 2013. What led me to say I have to have a kidney, maybe 5 years of kidney failure, and it's just deteriorating year after year, month after month, day after day, to the point where either I had to get a kidney or go on dialysis. And with everything that I've been through, I just was afraid. And it was my family. They're like, look, this is, I struggled so much with, taking it from my younger sister. All my siblings got tested. My husband got tested, and 2 of them were a match. 1 was a perfect match, and I struggled. And here's my baby sister who's never been married, who doesn't have kids, who's single. And I'm like, how do I, ask her to do this? How do I put her, how do I put her through this? What if my body rejects it? What if she needs a kidney? What if this and what if that? And I'm talking about, the devil on one shoulder, just, messing with your mind. And, she's like, look, this is not about you. This is about me helping somebody that I love, have a better life.
Rewarding,
She goes, I need to do this. It's not about you. And it just, that kind of woke me up. And it's like, she's right. And then, that same day I get a call from my doctor. You don't come in on December 6th and get that transplant. You better come in and get dialysis. It's one or the other.
Wow.
So,
God bless her.
Yeah, God bless her, a million times. Yeah.
The disease that you have, what is it called again?
It's called polycystic kidney disease. And
what is it exactly?
It's
and is it common in Chaldeans? Just
it is common in the Asian continent, right? So, like, you see it a lot in Asians, Indians, Middle Easterns.
I have it. It's genetic. I
is genetic.
I think it's very common.
Okay.
I know that I've already gifted it to my older son. I'm going to get the 2 younger ones tested. There is a few cousins that I found out after I was diagnosed have the same disease. Wow. So it's pretty common.
So it's good. Yeah. I'm saying not that. I'm saying it's good to know. So when you guys know something in the line of your generation, it's always good to get that particular thing checked out. I mean, it's genetics. You're going to inherit it. If it's not one of the 5 kids, it may be 2 of the 5 kids in a household or so forth. But
I'm one of all of my siblings, 1 out of 6 that was diagnosed with it.
All of my siblings have it.
And it's good to know that. Yeah. It's good to know because as we get older or as we have kids and stuff, we have to prepare them for their body. And genetics are genetics. You can't. It's in our DNA.
Everybody's going to have something.
It's in our DNA, DNA. So it's there. And in your case, how did things come about with your situation?
So when I was younger, I struggled with childhood obesity, and at 19, I went in for weight loss surgery. At that point, I tried all different ways to lose weight, and weight loss surgery was the answer. And in my checkups, I would go for monthly checkups, and then from my 3-month checkup to my 6-month checkup from the weight loss surgery, at 6 months, they said, hey, your kidney's failing. And, they actually called me from, it was a small hospital out in Livonia, St. Mary's, and they're like, hey, there might have been a lab mistake. Can you go get your blood tested again right now? And I was like, I was babysitting. I was 20 at the time. I was so young. I was like, no, I'll go tomorrow. So I waited till the next day. I went the next day and it was the same thing. And they called and they're like, hey, we need you in the ER ASAP. So I went. I was in and out of 5 different hospitals in Michigan, and then finally went over to the Mayo Clinic, where one doctor knew exactly what it was right off the bat. She studied it in Iceland. It's called APRT deficiency. So it's in mostly Icelandic people. Only 300. At the time, only 300 people in the world had been diagnosed with it. There are a few cases in the United States, and the one doctor that I met at Mayo Clinic is the doctor for all of the cases in the United States.
Wow.
I was fortunate enough to meet those doctors in Iceland last year when I traveled. So these people that I've been communicating on the phone with for over 10 years, I was able to meet them in person last year. It was awesome. It was really rewarding. And then my second transplant, I stayed home at Henry Ford, and Dr. Patel, who has been my transplant doctor since I transferred over from Mayo Clinic to back home, she's been in communication with them ever since, both with Mayo Clinic and with the Icelandic doctors. So she's been awesome with everything, and she's very aware of the disease and how it's treated and what to do in certain situations. So she's been awesome with it.
Nice.
Amazing.
And then what about you?
Story?
So I have polycystic kidney disease, like Lisa. My mom was adopted, and when she was in her 40s, she was diagnosed, and she had a kidney transplant, living donor, 21 years ago at Henry Ford Hospital. Wow. And then my sister, brother, and I all have it, and my sister had a kidney transplant in March, living donor. And then as part of the disease, because of the aneurysms, Lisa had a brain aneurysm. My brother had a heart aneurysm. So he had open heart surgery last summer with the disease. But I say this all the time. We're all doing great, and everybody
You guys all
has.
look
I
great
know.
right now. What do you mean?
It's really. I mean,
I couldn't tell seeing it from the outside. You know,
people don't know,
No.
and people have stuff. Everybody has
Everybody has
something.
stuff.
Yeah.
This is our
Yes.
deal,
Yeah.
Yes.
and we're trying to make a difference with it.
yes.
That's awesome.
So let's lead into that. That's what I want to get into.
So let me ask one
Yeah.
thing before.
Yeah.
So are there symptoms that tip people off to any sort of kidney
Yeah.
disease or failure?
There
High
are.
blood pressure, I would
Yes.
say, is a big one that they'll start checking you for
Yeah.
kidney disease. Sometimes kidney disease leads to high blood pressure. Like in our case,
Yeah.
I think kidney disease gave us high blood pressure. Like we were on blood pressure meds.
Yep.
But most people who are diabetic, heart disease and diabetes lead a lot to kidney failure.
okay.
Besides some of these other, like polycystic
Cystic.
kidneys for sure.
Yes.
The good news about that is when you get a transplant, you're usually solving your problem.
Yeah.
Whereas in other cases, they have heart disease, get the kidney failure. The kidney failure, like even though they get the transplant, it's not
It's all
solving.
connected.
In her
right?
case, her kidney is not solving her
Yeah.
problem. Like
And
she's
that's
still
what-
dealing with some other issues.
For sure. And I take medications to prevent
Right.
what happened with my original kidneys and my transplanted kidneys.
Man, girl, you can't catch a break.
Well, she has. Yeah, she's
I'm
got
saying
a break.
you did catch a break, but I'm saying to you, once you catch a break,
Steve's
you
a break for her.
Yes,
Mom.
yes, Steve. Yes, Steve's a break.
We're gonna make this one last a lot longer.
Yes.
We
Good.
know now.
And we're here to support you with
Yes.
that.
For
So
sure.
So let's talk about the event.
I love your story. To all of you,
Yep.
each one of you has a very beautiful, unique story. What I love more is what you're doing with that story, what's
Yes.
leading into why we've got you here today. So we want
Yes.
to talk about your event, Cheers to Second Chances. I'm a firm believer because I've had my own second chance in life. So if one of you can direct us at what this event is on Friday, September 27th, it's at 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. I know you're raising awareness and all that. Lead us what got you three into as a group and what formed this, because Henry Ford has stamped their name on this, and I haven't seen this in the past where they've done events with outside parties and put their name on it. So
Yeah, we're special, but
yeah, you are. You are very special. What do you
We got
mean?
Lisa on our team. She gets
Good.
what she wants.
Good. Good.
Lisa's a driver.
Yeah, well, I have a great team, right?
Awesome.
And she mentioned Dr. Patel. Dr. Patel is the transplant nephrologist, who also cared for Molly, took care of Lorraina, and then myself. Patel and I were walking. She lives in my subdivision, and there's those West Bloomfield trails. And I'm like, Dr. Patel, what can we do? I want to give back. I've never felt so good. And she's like, yes, 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 we're going to have an event. Well, Molly's sitting in her, she's going for her post-transplant office visit.
In the office.
In the office. And she's like, I'm feeling so great. What can I do? I want to give back. I want to raise awareness. And she's like, call Lisa right now.
Right then.
Right
She's
then.
like,
Had you
need to-
known each other before? Prior? No. Okay.
No,
Wow.
never met.
Never
Okay.
met. Yep.
Someone
Okay.
else had tried to connect us. So when Dr. Patel said her name and someone else had tried to connect us, I was like, okay, this is fate. We
Yeah.
need to do this.
Yeah.
And then Lisa connected all of us together.
Yes.
And how long ago was it you guys forged this group?
Just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And you guys already put an event together.
Yes.
What do you mean? For
Women.
Chaldeans,
Women.
well, for Chaldeans, that's quick. For Chaldean women,
Yes.
it's good. You guys did
Yes.
it right, and for yourself as
No,
well.
it's good.
So let us know about this and what to expect, where this is going with Dr. Patel and everybody that's going to be on board to help out. What's your goal for this event, and how many? Like, are you going to lead to more events after? And where's the future of this group?
Go ahead, Molly.
So the goal of the event is to raise funds and awareness. So the funds will be going to the living donor transplant part of the hospital. And so the hospital, Henry Ford Hospital, has a transplant institute. And that's where the lungs and heart and kidney and liver all come under. And within that, they have a living donor piece. And so the surgeon who did my surgery and Lorraina's surgery is the head of the Living Donor Transplant Institute. And what we're really looking to do is raise funds that will create a better experience in the end for the donor. So we all had very healthy people who went into the hospital, donated an organ to us, and had an experience very similar to any of us who have ever been in the hospital. The idea is they don't really need hospital gowns, and they don't really need a hospital room where they're sharing it with someone. They need a nice room.
Right.
And we were lucky that we lived here. There are people that come or people that donate that don't live in this area, and their family wants to come, and there's no money for them to stay in a hotel. There's no place for them to go.
get you.
Yeah.
So all of that, the money from this is to go to the Transplant Institute to really help the living donation program
Okay.
and increase living donation, because the outcome of a living donor transplant is just better in the end for everyone.
Well, while you're on that, just to ask, how long does it take to one, qualify for the donor, and is Michigan different than the rest of the country when it comes to the waiting list?
Well, we definitely have a longer wait list than, let's just say, Ohio or Wisconsin.
Why
right?
is that?
There's what we call like an organ bank. So Michigan only has one, where if somebody were to pass away, which is regulated by the government.
Yep.
Michigan has one, hence that's why if I'm waiting for a kidney on a transplant, I have to wait on a list. And if we only have one bank, your chances of getting one
Sure.
are very far and few in between. That's why so many people go on dialysis and stay on dialysis for a long time. Where Ohio, they have a no helmet law. You don't have to wear a helmet. They have an opiate crisis. They have multiple banks, and their wait time is a lot less. Wisconsin, the same thing. So each state is different.
Gotcha.
But you can't just go and register in all the states, because you have to be able to get to the hospital within 42 hours.
Right.
Yeah. So you're very limited to how many you can register.
Yeah, I can speak on that a
Yeah,
little bit
please.
as well. So I was listed this time in Michigan and Ohio. I had been listed probably for 6 months in Michigan before I went to Ohio, because we weren't finding a living donor. So I'm like, okay, I can take a cadaver kidney, So I went and got listed in Ohio. And in the year that I was between when I was listed and when I received my transplant, I got 3 calls as a backup. They call about 3 people for every organ that they are
Right.
that they can give away.
Sure.
Because maybe the first one is out of town. Maybe the first one has a cold, or maybe the first one's out of town, the second one has a cold. If you have a cold, they're not going to put you in
Right.
surgery and give
Yep.
you a
Yeah.
kidney, right?
Right.
So they're going to go to that third person. So 3 different times I was the second person. Fortunately for that first person, they were all able to receive those kidneys. So getting called 3 times within 1 year, that's unheard of in
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to, raise this awareness for living donation, because not only are we receiving less kidneys because we have different helmet laws, and we have there's still an opioid crisis
Sure.
here in Michigan, but it's much heavier in Ohio. I know that 2 of those calls that I got were high-risk kidneys. My immediate thought that for a high-risk kidney is that it was an overdose. I was still willing to take those. I still went. They call you, you go to the hospital.
How safe is that? Just curious. I mean,
They-
because opiates tear your liver and kidneys up.
Yeah, but a lot of these,
They're
they're like
high,
first-time overdoses.
Oh,
or
okay,
younger
okay,
overdoses.
okay.
Yep, okay.
They are
okay.
highly,
Just to understand,
highly tested before.
Yeah,
they
but
are
they
put
let you
in.
know.
Yeah.
Like, you're making the decision. They're
Yeah.
giving you
Yeah.
criteria, but you only have 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes.
I could say no. Yep.
Yeah,
So
but you have to make that
They
decision.
call. I say yes. I'm in Toledo in less than an hour. I'm driving fast on the highway. But in my case, obviously, I didn't get those 3. But happy for those people that did get those 3, right?
Yep.
And that's where the living donation comes in when in every state. So. That's
So
where.
what can people do to get on this list in Michigan if for someone that wants to make a difference in someone else's life?
You could go, so with your driver's license, for
Mm-hmm.
sure, on Gift of Life, on Michigan Gift of Life, you can go on there on your driver's license, register to be an organ
Mm-hmm.
donor. That's the first step. The second step, we say, is having a conversation with your family members
Definitely.
so they know your wishes. They definitely need to support your wishes in that time of need, because there would be a discussion about keeping this person alive
Yes.
to keep them alive to give the organs.
Right.
So they, Michigan Gift of Life is amazing, and they do a lot of these. And that's where you want to register. That's the first step for sure. But the second step, we always say, is have that conversation with your family members, because at that time, they get the final decision, no matter what your decision was.
That's in the case of a tragedy. What about someone living that's watching now that wants to be a difference maker?
So I think Henry Ford,
Yeah,
right. So
that'd be
Henry Ford
fabulous.
has a website that you can go to, and it's henryford.com, and then it's / transplant.
CLD, right?
Well, CLD is for our
For the
donation.
The donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you go to transplant, the
Yep.
form is there.
We'll
So-
figure it out for sure,
And
we'll
link
post,
it.
We'll
Yep.
post a link. Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, there are people, and I have friends now that after my transplant and watched how healthy Christy was at the end of it and felt like, oh my gosh, literally friends are like, I'm going to give a kidney at some point. Like, I'm going to give someone a kidney because they just realized my donor, she had surgery. We had surgery on Wednesday. She was out of the hospital on Friday. Okay. And then on Saturday, she wasn't great, but it was her boys' homecoming, and she was at Shane Park taking pictures at her boys' homecoming.
That's
She
awesome.
went back to work in a month. I mean, she was off work for 4 weeks, and she probably was wanting to go back in 2 weeks. And this gal went back in 4 weeks. I waited 6, but you're back. Like, and they do it laparoscopically now. So her surgery was laparoscopically to get the kidney.
Which means what? Sorry.
Very small incisions.
Incisions.
Very small.
Okay.
I mean, too much information. I don't know. My donor had a C-section, and they used her C-section scar, and she got no additional scar.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's okay.
So
to know.
that
You let the women know because that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, well,
Listen,
that was
no
the
offense,
biggest thing.
beauty and scars, they don't go hand in hand. So let's
but I think it's very non-intrusive, and you recover quick.
So I know I know you can't compensate someone, but is there compensation for them missing work from the insurance?
That's complicated. Like, my donor had it. She had her short-term disability, and they paid her while she was off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So most insurance, they do have that short, most through their employer. But there is a fund in the state of Michigan that they could apply to.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that even, let's say, Cheers to Second Chances can help contribute to, right?
Yeah,
for those that
sure.
can't afford to do that. But there is a fund that they can reach out.
So that's awesome. So you guys are creating this to basically help anybody sustain anything, whether you need to stay somewhere, whether you need to be able to get little transportation to help this guy to get over here for this. That's awesome.
Whatever they need, whatever the donor needs.
The entire experience. It's
Yes.
not just about
From
the
A to
room
Z.
or the
Yeah.
hotel.
Yep.
The entire experience.
From beginning to
start
the end.
Yeah,
finish.
from A to Z.
That's great.
Information, I think, our donors, and they're working on, and Henry Ford's doing this, a committee to really get the donors' input to create a better experience informationally up front, right? So a lot of people and don't go through with it and don't even fill out the form because you're like, I don't even know. I don't
Right.
even. What is the surgery like?
Yeah.
How long am I going to be off? Would my work pay? This doesn't even work. I have young kids. I can't even do it.
Right.
Right.
So let's promote the event a little more. Talk about what's involved. Where is it? How do we find it?
These guys are putting on a sweet event.
Mind you, this is
And
this is our
thanks to the
50th
Maddock
anniversary.
family.
Oh,
The 50th anniversary
Oh,
of
the
Henry Ford for a
transplant
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 institute.
Institute, yeah.
So they're able to just fall right into place with this to continue on.
Right.
So
I
let
mean,
us know.
Just the name says it all. Cheers to Second Chances, right?
Yep.
It's going to be at the Maddock dealership. Thank you, the Zimmerman family. They're giving us the venue. Thanks to Top That Table for the decorating. Thanks to multiple liquor vendors that are coming out to help, and all our sponsors to be able to help us put this event together.
great.
100% of the proceeds are going to Henry Ford.
100%.
100%.
All
awesome.
underwritten.
And that's like you said, first time Henry Ford has put their name behind a third-party event. It's like, look, this is what we want to give back. And we're going to find a way to make sure that, like she said, everything's going to be underwritten in somehow, some way. It's going to be a strolling buffet.
Lots of good food,
Lots of good,
lots of
food,
good drinks.
You guys
some
got
good
some
music.
You guys got some cool sponsors. You want to
Yes.
shout them out too? Let them just if you want to just give them a
ahead.
shout out.
Well, top that table, man. Those guys
Yeah.
are crazy.
Yeah, top that
I
table.
love
Who's
it.
top that table? I mean, if you can give us a
Who is
name.
top that table?
Yeah.
Top That Table. Everyone knows Top That Table. Lawrence and Andy are really helping us out with this event. They are, like they said, there's been a little bit of communication error, but we're gonna get to it, and they're gonna deliver. Like I said,
Yeah.
I promised Lisa from day one. They do
They do.
deliver.
They do. They do.
deliver.
I
We're
watch
not
their
gonna-
stuff.
We're not gonna call them out.
No.
Yeah, they do.
I've
They've
witnessed
been
some of the
amazing. They're amazing.
yeah.
They have
some of the
amazing stuff.
greatest
Yeah.
entertainment come from
Yes.
those guys.
Yeah.
Just 3 weeks ago, I seen something amazing. But
Right.
So they're really
They'll pull
helping
through.
create the, I would say, experience of the evening.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to create an event that's super fun, generates community, brings a bunch of different people together from all over.
Yes.
Raises awareness.
Raises
Yes.
awareness. We've got doctors and surgeons from Henry Ford coming.
Yeah.
We have the sponsors, a bunch of liquor sponsors.
We have, just
lot
a few of them,
a lot
like
of
for
food
instance,
vendors.
Happy's Pizza,
Yeah, they
Sonar
promised us.
Sensations, Zoma Dental, just a bunch of sponsors that have come out to help
Very
and
nice.
support the event.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then what about the people that can't make the event and want to donate? Where would they go?
Oh yes.
www.henryford.com/transplantCLD Center
And
for
don't
Living
put
Donation.
anything after the CLD.
Yeah.
There, it's just CLD,
Yeah.
and then hit enter on your, and then you can donate to the event.
Yes.
And all of that money is going straight into a nonprofit, a 501c3 that helps fund the living donation program at Henry Ford.
And in regards to the donation, so if Anthony and I, are we going online to donate this,
Yes.
and then we come attend, or can we come there and there's somebody?
Buy tickets.
Yeah, can we buy tickets to get to this event the day of on September 27th?
You could buy tickets
Yes.
at the door.
Sure.
But when you go online, it's giving us a good head count of how much food to have.
Okay.
Because look, you're coming.
Well,
we're
you're Chaldean.
Chaldean. We're Chaldean. We
You're
want to
Chaldean.
eat.
You shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
There's going to
We
be
wanna
enough.
eat.
All you got to really
Eat and
prepare
drink.
for is the carry-out trays that will be
No
sitting on the
problem.
side. You got to
Like,
give
That's
everybody.
what everyone keeps saying to me. I'm like, don't worry, people
Yeah.
are gonna come.
Yes, yes.
Sure.
No, I think it'll be a great event. Henry Ford has been big. They played a huge part in the community ever since they put their facility up on Maple. I mean, they've done a hell of a
Yeah.
job. They've hired a lot of Chaldean women that we know of that are doctors now. I mean, so it's
I mean, I will say, and I've been exposed to a lot of this, but 50 years ago, there were great doctors there. 25 years ago, there are amazing doctors. Dr. Abajud, who is the head of the Living Donation, I have sat in a room with him, and I will just tell everyone, he is fighting on behalf of people who don't even know they need the fight right now.
Right.
He is fighting
Yeah.
to get improvement of medical equipment and things to improve your life. If all of a sudden you were to find out in 24 hours that you needed a kidney, he's been working for 10 years to try and get you the best kidney. He calls doctor centers, all of that, and you just don't know that. And then so they have been creating this top center for a number of years.
Yes.
And so who else would you all like to shout out, maybe in your personal lives, maybe in your business lives?
Some supporting
maybe in your immediate family.
Definitely
You want-
family support.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Let's
can
start-
speak on that.
We'll start
family
here and we'll go this way.
family
Go ahead.
support has been amazing.
Let's
My
drop
parents,
some names.
yeah, my parents, you know them, Isam
Yep.
and Vivian Yaldo. They've been amazing throughout this entire journey for me. It's been over 10 years.
your mom makes awesome dolma, by the way. I just wanna let you know.
Junior.
Yes.
I had it when I was a kid, so I know.
Oh my gosh, you still remember it. So
Yes.
it could have been good.
Yes.
It should have been good. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Just my brothers, obviously, both of my brothers, Lawrence and Andrew. People forget about Andrew, but he exists too. And then Andy, of course, too, Lawrence's business partner. So they've been amazing throughout this, and especially with this event for sure.
I'm truly blessed. I have the world's greatest family. My siblings, my sisters, my brothers, my husband, my children. I have great friends. They've all stepped up and helped in every which way that they can. I was left speechless.
These are
So,
the Maddies, right?
The Maddies.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the Maddies,
Let's shout
right?
out the Maddies by
Yes,
name.
yes. Nick and Rudy Maddie, my older and younger brother, my sister Terry, Maddie, Sana, my donor, Zena Maddie, my other sister Joanne Maddie. Joanne, she slept every single night at the hospital, and
God bless.
I just wouldn't know what to do if she wasn't there. You know, my husband Maher, the boys Andrew, Jacob, and Alex. I've amazing friends and amazing support. You know, that they were always there. Whatever my family needed help, my friends picked up.
Beautiful.
But luckily, again, I come from one of 6, so
Beautiful.
yeah.
Molly?
I just think I've worked at a great place for 20 years, which is Matic Automotive. So they've been supportive of this event, but like of anything, of me being off, of food for everybody. My donor, Christy, and her boys, Cooper and Logan, who go to Brother Rice and are seniors and watch their mom go into surgery and said to their grandma, why is mom
What's
doing
Christy's
this?
last name?
Yeah.
Cooper, Christy
Christy
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yeah, probably know
And-
because my nephew
We'll have
is.
to look her up.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
sister
My
probably
kids are at
know.
St. Regis. My
Oh.
nephew's at Brother Rice.
Yeah, my
He's a
nephew
junior.
too. Senior.
Oh, you have to look at it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, look, she has twin boys that are there, and she's raised these boys on her own, puts them to Brother Rice, and
Beautiful.
is a businesswoman and a mom, and donated a kidney.
Right?
Yes.
And so I just think this community. I mean, thank you guys for having us. Thank
Yes.
you guys for all
Thank
you've
you.
done.
Thank you for being on.
I will say, you guys, this community is strong. It pulls together, and it networks well and supports one another. So
Thank you.
Well,
We,
thank
we
you,
thank you.
Molly.
We
Yeah.
thank all three of you
Thank
for
you,
sharing
guys.
your story. It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
I did forget to. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
Don't
did
be-
forget to mention Steve and his wife Erin, who've been amazing. They have 3 young children, so they're probably all under the age of 4.
Wow.
So and Erin's family, who came in to take care of the kids when
Steve
Erin was
needed-
taking care of Steve, who
Yeah.
was taking care of me. You know, Erin's still at Shenandoah. He is a great banquet manager. So if
Oh, yeah.
anyone
Let's
is
get
looking-
Steve
Banquet
out
manager,
somewhere.
restaurant
Let's get Steve a job. Right?
Yeah, sure. I would have been
Plug
doing
him
that
in.
the
What do you
whole
mean?
thing.
That's-
Yes.
Someone's gonna hire him
Yes,
today. I know
yes,
it. So.
Absolutely.
You know what? Even if we don't see him in the community, God sees him for what he's done
Yeah,
for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Whether it's a job,
Amen.
somehow, some way, that man will get his reward.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
I
So
agree.
believe me, the people at Shenandoah respect him times millions for what he did.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I've heard
Great
plenty of
man.
him. Yep,
Great
I've heard
guy.
plenty of him from my brother-in-law and them. And anything you want to kick on this event? What's attire? Let's talk about that real
Cocktail.
quick.
But
Yeah, I just want to make
Lisa
sure.
says bougie.
What's gonna come with jeans and hoodie? And,
Yeah, no jeans and hoodies.
Okay.
Yeah, just
That's what I said,
cocktail.
but a
Yeah.
cocktail.
Yeah. You know,
It's a wide range.
So business
Yeah.
casual?
business casual.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome,
cocktail. Yeah.
awesome. And they can donate as much. It seems like from either online or when they
Yes.
come
Yeah.
in.
We do
Everyone's
have-
welcome. Yeah.
We
Yep.
do have sponsorship opportunities available, so if people
Cool.
do want to sponsor, they can reach out to me.
We'll put some
personally.
information in
Yeah,
the
I can give you
description.
guys my email address.
Well, why don't you say it? Say it out.
loryaldo@gmail.com. LORYALDO@gmail.com. You can reach out to me. I can send you sponsorship information, and we are also recognizing our generous donors as well. So,
Cool.
Awesome.
we are, if they want to donate food or whatever it is, we'll take whatever they have to give. So,
And
we
we are-
want to just create an awesome event for the community and for the doctors and for Henry Ford and we're gonna hopefully continue on this year
For
has
years
been-
to come.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
this
the
year
cause,
has
and
been
this is
trial
the
trial
kickoff.
and error.
Yeah, that's
so
what
it's
we're
a
gonna.
kickoff.
We want to know
Yes.
where is this going to lead to. There's going to be more events.
Sure.
I
Every year.
also, you guys,
Good.
I forgot a couple sponsors. You know, we have Cana Wines, Alan and Yvette Lucia.
Okay.
They're going to be there. They're generously providing all the red and white wine, also giving us a beautiful gift basket.
Great.
You know, Tito's is going to be there. We have some bourbon. And then we also have tequila. So I forget. You
This
know,
is going to be a fun party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
What,
are
there's
you guys-
anything
It
you
is
want?
gonna be fun.
Tequila.
Are you guys-
Sushi, meat,
Right.
cigar stuff.
Are you guys auctioning, raffling?
Yeah.
anything
We're gonna
that
have
day?
about 10 to 15 silent auction items.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We are
okay.
doing a Corvette weekend.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yes.
Corvette for the weekend.
the new
Yes.
Corvette?
Probably not the new one. Maybe next year we'll have a new one.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So is there
They're like
anybody-
all sold.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we have
Oh,
so
yeah,
many.
yeah.
Is there anybody we missed or didn't cover that you guys want to thank,
I don't
express
know.
anything? I know you guys
Just
dropped.
Henry Ford. We
Yes,
love them.
Henry
Awesome.
Ford.
Thank you,
They've been
Henry
great.
Ford. They've
Henry
been
Ford,
awesome.
the doctors, everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
K16.
Thank you guys so much for sharing your stories.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thanks.
for coming
Thank
on.
you.
We look forward
Thanks
to
for
seeing you
having us.
guys
Yeah, of
September
course.
And we'll see you
27th.
September
Come to the
27th.
event.
Yeah.
And if you
Great
can't,
job.
feel
Yeah.
free to donate on the website.
Absolutely.
Love our
Make sure
girl.
you guys keep up and watch us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, wherever it is. We're there somewhere. Just check
Sign
us out.
up
Yeah,
for
sign
the
up.
blog.
Yes,
Sign up.
Yes, for the YouTube.
Subscribe.
Yes,
Subscribe.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
ladies. You did
Thanks.
great.
Thanks.
And awesome.